welcome everyone to our Personnel Commission meeting. We will open at 5:32. Call the meeting to order and roll call.
Commissioner Linda Allen.
Present.
Commissioner Vice Chair Nita Eddy Mitchell.
Here.
And Commissioner Marissa Haro.
Here.
And for the record, it is noted that our chairperson, Catherine Cummins, is absent today. She advised us at our last meeting that she would be absent tonight, so we knew she would not be present this evening.
That's it. Awesome. So do you want to report on when the agenda was posted?
Yeah, so the report on the posting of the agenda was posted on April 24th, 2025 at 6:35 p.m.
Perfect. Okay, public comment by members of the public on items not on the agenda, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Personnel Commission. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the commission on matters not on the agenda. The law does not permit commission action or extended discussion of any item not on the agenda, except under special circumstances. If commission action is requested, the commission may place the matter on a future agenda. Do we have anybody?
I don't see any public
Here
comment
from
tonight.
the public that wants to say something? Okay. So item number 3, we need to approve the minutes. Did everybody have a chance to review them? I didn't find anything out of the ordinary when I reviewed it.
No, me neither.
Neither.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting of March 28th, 2025,
It's actually March 24th.
24th.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, I think it's because it's April 28th. March 24th,
probably.
but it's March
Yeah.
24th. The minutes themselves say March 24th, and that aligns with our meeting schedule. So March 24th.
Okay, March
Okay.
24th.
I second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it stands approved. And then we have the Human Resources Director's report.
Right, so, just letting the commission know that we're working through our budget process at this time. And so we, have been spending a lot of staff time working on our, budget, our work plans, all of our, goals and objectives for the next 2 years. The council will be having a strategic planning session on Monday to talk a little bit more about economic development, community development, and some other things that they want to dive in a little deeper to as part of the budget process. Our goal is to have the budget approved at the first council meeting in June. That way there we have the rest of that month to work forward and be ready for July 1. So that's all I have for you tonight.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did have other things tonight. I was thinking it was on the informational item. I do have a couple other things. I had shared with you all that we had a training grant program at the last meeting, and I want to let you know since that time we've reviewed the training grant program, and 9 grants were issued to our employees for them to attend different training opportunities that they came forward with. We also have 3 employees that are scheduled to attend the Santa Clara County Leadership Academy. And that academy is a collaboration of all the cities in Santa Clara County. We have different speakers that come in. It's a program that the employees meet once a month for the months of May through November, and then they have a follow-up session in the following January. So we are sending 3 of our employees to attend this important training, and they get to network with folks from other cities and receive some really awesome training. So that is going to be starting next week on May 8th. And then we've also just recently attended a couple of different community events geared toward letting young people know about jobs in the public sector. We have to start young. So one of my HR analysts, Angelica Harris, attended a training at a couple of our middle schools where they talked about different jobs in the city and how different job requirements match up to different jobs and positions. She kind of made a game out of it to keep the kids engaged and to have fun. And then Jason Davalos, my other HR analyst, attended a event down at the Digital Nest downtown. And it was geared toward a lot of young people who are interested in growing their careers, interested in the technology field and that kind of thing. So it was good experience for both of those folks on my team to get out and to be able to talk about what it means to work in a local government agency and all the different kinds of jobs that we have to offer. And there's a lot of possibilities. So stay your course and find the thing that you love and then find a job doing something that you love. So that was, those were some things I wanted to share with you. In addition to the budget.
Rotarians are trying to start up a mentoring program too, so maybe we can call on those folks to come
Yeah,
and help.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to do that. That's great.
yeah.
Okay. Um, okay. Informational items.
So our first informational item tonight is a presentation from our Public Works Project Manager, Ryan Osenton. Ryan is here. He is heading up our Civic Center Master Plan project. And I mentioned this to you at our last meeting, and I had a copy of the flyer in the packet last month, but he wanted to come in person and tell you a little bit about what's happening with the Civic Center Master Plan and to tell you about some other opportunities to provide input if you so wish to.
Thanks,
Right.
Dan. Nice to meet all of you. My name is Ryan. Like Dan said, I'm the project manager here. So one of the things I've been working on is our Civic Center Master Plan. Essentially, it's a redesign of the layout of our Civic Center. That's everything from Dowdy to Church, from 6th to 7th, so the entire block. The police station and the library were recently renovated and rebuilt. So those are excluded from our redesign. We're building a new campus around those buildings, basically. We've had 2 public workshops already. We host our third on May 20th at 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. in Wheeler Center. And I am here to help drive interest and have people come attend the workshop. This final workshop, we're going to be presenting what we believe is going to be our final preferred concept, which will show kind of the new layout of everything that we want to bring to this downtown, to our Civic Center footprint. We want to bring a new park. It includes a aquatic center, a new recreation center, a new multi-generational center, which would have a youth center, a teen center, a senior center, indoor pickleball court, a new city hall, a new paseo. We're really trying to think on a very deep level what this should look like. Our current footprint has served us well, but the one reference point I like to use is Wheeler was built in the 40s, I believe, when our population was less than 10,000 people. And within the next 10 to 15 years, we're expecting to be close to 100,000 people. So Wheeler has served its purpose. It's done us well, but it's time for us to move Gilroy and all of our civic buildings into the 22nd century, just like we are steaming towards. So this is a big part of that. The design process takes a long time, and we need a lot of input from everyone that's going to be using it, current employees, future employees, residents. So we've gone through a couple of iterations. We've released 6 or 7 different versions of layout options, and we're ready to present our final one. So I get to see it for the first time tomorrow. I'm very excited. And then we'll present it to the public on May 20th. So really, I'm kind of here to answer questions if there are any. That's kind of like the 30,000-foot spiel.
Ryan, I'll start off with a question just because it's always the question that I always get.
Yeah.
How is this going to get paid for?
Paid for,
Yeah.
yep.
Yep. So that is a very important question. But to us, that is a bridge further down. The current step that we're at in the plan is designing the plan, because it doesn't matter how we're going to fund it if we don't know what we're building. That question is always going to be out there. So what we're trying to do is figure out what is the best plan that serves our community and build the design to that. And then when it comes time, we will finance it out, figure out what the costs are. And then when we need to value engineer stuff down, we will do that. But for us, we want to build what we believe the plan should be, and then we can work backwards from it. So the
But when we
current, the
get to
current
that,
stage,
but when we get to that step, that will be something that will go to the voters.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
talking about
It
an
will,
election. Yeah,
it will most likely be a bond.
yeah.
But there's a lot of hurdles to get to that point. You know, you have to do polling, figure out what your bond capacity is. We would have to figure out, you know, is this a one-time bond? Is it a multi-phase bond? How do we build this, right? But for us, the current stage where we're at is, what is the design going to be? What
What's
is our
the vision?
layout?
What's the dream? And
Exactly,
then how do we get there?
exactly. Because we have a good idea of what our community wants. You know, we've heard for a long time, we need a new gym, right? We need a new recreation center. We've heard for a while, we need a pool on this side of town. We have the pool at Christopher that does a great job for the west side of town, but we don't have anything on the east side of town or downtown. So how can we pull that into this project and create kind of a one-stop shop for everything that our community wants to give? So, you know, that's the current stage of where we're at. But to answer your question, ultimately, it will most likely be a bond.
I have two questions.
There's just a lot of people, yeah, who are looking for bonds right now, so it's gonna be big competition in
Yep.
Gilroy growth, because we're right at a point right now where we're ready to soar, but boy, I don't know, we gotta get the community behind us.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's a big hurdle.
Yeah,
It's something
it's
we're definitely
huge.
concerned about, but you know, the way we're kind of looking at it is, you know, if we design this the right way and we have the right community voices involved in helping us design it, when we go to put this on the ballot and people are aware of what we're bringing, it will get the support we need. When the library passed with over 80% voter approval, which is unheard of. You can't get 8 out of 10 people to agree that this is what color the sky is, right? But 8 out of 10 people in Gilroy said we needed a library because we needed a library.
An improved library. We had a library. We just need a
Improved.
better one. Yeah,
And our library was fantastic.
yeah.
Everybody loves it. So we're trying to follow in that same blueprint of what do we need? How can we make it better?
I'm sorry. you
No,
asked
no
your
worries. I
question.
have two questions for you, and I know this may come at a very later time in the planning process, but in terms of the existing buildings now, like I know you said a new city hall, what will happen? Will these buildings be demolished? And if so, what will happen to staff during that time?
Most likely, but that's gonna come down to the phasing plan
Okay.
and what the bond financing looks like.
Okay.
So just for conversation's sake, say we do this in a 2-part bond, right? City Hall would be a part of phase 2, and we would keep this city hall open and operational until it's time for us to demolish this. Because
Okay.
in the iterations I've seen, City Hall would go in this exact footprint. So what we would do is we would do something like we would build the multi-generational center first, right? Where there's a half gym. And then we can move any staff we need into the current senior center because the new senior center would be in the multi-generational building. So then, once that's open, you could tear down Wheeler and the annex, because then the multi-generational center will have a half gymnasium in it. So you could move some of your recreational activities that are currently in Wheeler into the half gym and the multi-gym. And then you could demolish that, Wheeler and the annex, move the staff into the senior center, build the park and the recreation center in that footprint. And then we would demolish City Hall, move City Hall staff, whether that's to an offsite office or into the senior center. That's something we would figure out.
Okay.
And then we build City Hall and bring everybody back.
Okay.
But
A
that's,
lot of planning.
Yeah,
Just
it's a
to
lot of
get
planning and it's a long
process.
time.
It's a long
You know,
time.
Redwood City is going through this process now. They're finishing up the last building of phase 1 of their project, and they passed their bond almost 10 years
Oh my
ago.
gosh.
So,
And that doesn't even include their city hall.
right,
Yeah.
This is
their
just their
city hall
community
is in
center.
phase 2.
Yeah.
So will there be any disruption to like services, like rec programs or anything during that time?
So that's part of the juggling act,
Okay.
is figuring out how we not interrupt those,
Right,
which is
okay.
kind of where the layouts are very important,
Right.
right? You can't tear down Wheeler and build the gymnasium there if the recreation center is where City Hall is,
Right.
right? Because you have to build one thing to be able to move stuff to it. So,
Okay.
there's gonna be a juggling act that comes involved into
Okay.
that. But that's where, you know, input is so important,
Right.
because if there's an activity that we don't know about or something going on
Right.
that we're not aware of, it could affect our phasing plan. So that's one of the reasons I'm here, is to try to gather as much support so we can get all the information we need to make the best decision possible.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Making me nervous just
Yeah.
thinking
I
about
know.
this. Oh my
Makes me
God.
excited.
I am excited, but Wheeler's dear to my heart, so, I mean, I'm old.
There is some sentimental aspects to it. We've talked about that, and we heard that when we went and visited some of the other places,
Yeah.
that there's some, sentimental aspects of things that make it hard to do. But when you see some of these new facilities in
Oh,
other
yeah, I mean, we
cities
need to
and
move
exciting,
forward,
and how much it's, how much it's giving to the
We need
residents.
people to
and-
move here, and,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you gotta
And
move with
having
the
a
times.
two-story recreation center with an outdoor walking track
Oh, that'd be
and
great.
multi-functional rooms where you can have
Yeah,
massive
but
meetings.
ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
There's a lot that can be said.
But,
And a downtown park with an amphitheater would be
That would
fantastic.
be awesome.
yeah.
So, but yeah, so thank you guys.
Thank
If
you.
you have any
Good
questions.
luck,
Yeah.
we'll pray for you.
Where was the meeting taking place?
It's at Wheeler.
At Wheeler.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
And
you.
there's two meetings in the day, one at 9 a.m., one at 6 p.m. They're the exact same meeting, so you don't have to attend both. You can just attend one.
Okay,
We expect it to take anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes.
thank you.
And if you can't attend the meeting, all the information is available on the website, citygilroy.org. We have a dedicated webpage to the Civic Center Master Plan project, where we'll have all the slides that are presented will be put on there, as well as a post-event survey. So you can view everything and give us your feedback if you're not able to attend.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Any other questions for Ryan? All right, thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
All right, and our recruitment and employment status report.
Yeah, so the standard report is in your packet for this meeting. The first page of the report is all the recruitments that we currently have posted or are about to get started on posting. We have a lot of things in the pipeline that we're getting ready to work on. And so that's page one. Page two, the first, like the 2/3 of page two is other recruitments that we currently are working on that are in different phases of the process, where we have candidates in background check or a candidate getting ready to start work, or we have interviews scheduled or something like that. And then the bottom of page two, going on to page three, are new hires since we last met. And then we had one separation since we last met. So happy to answer any questions that you have.
We have a new fire chief.
We have a new fire chief, Rob Leah. Rob will be starting work with us on Monday, May 5th, as our new fire chief. He is relocating here, though he grew up in Morgan Hill. He's from California. He had time in Southern California as well as up here. And he has been really looking at different positions, but was wanting to find the right one to come back to California, and he found it here. So
So
we're
where's he
super,
from?
Kansas. Lawrence Douglas County in Kansas, really big full service fire department and bigger than Gilroy's. So he's really got depth of experience and similar call volume and that kind of thing. So he's super excited to come here to Gilroy, and he can't wait to get started. He's really excited. Yeah, good energy. He brings good energy. Yeah.
Huge, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. So we have a lot of different things in our pipeline right now and other new things coming up, and lots of candidates in background check right now. So we're super busy in that area. And we got all of our firefighting positions filled, as you can see, on the
that's
bottom
great.
of two going to the top of three. And we did promotions in the fire department as well. We're actually overstaffed by one person in the fire department right now. I'm anticipating a potential
She's got
retirement.
yeah.
Mhm. We decided to grab the spot in the academy while we could get it.
Yeah.
And anyone have any other questions on anything?
You've been busy, sister.
Yeah. Sure has, but it's all good stuff.
Okay, and then I read about this employee referral program.
Yeah, I'm excited to share this with you guys. So, we rolled this out to our employees just recently after, researching and looking at different programs and, just kind of landed on this where, we do have some of our employees that come from referrals, from other employees, employees want to have coworkers and folks working in the city that work just as hard as they work. And so they, often will, be kind of, specific and particular about who they recommend for different jobs. We see that on our applications, when we're screening applications that, oh, this person was referred by so-and-so. So we do see that happening. So we know our employees are out there talking Gilroy up, as a great place to work. And so, we decided to capitalize on that and to see if we could grow that and, find, even more additional great employees to join our team, through the help of our own, workforce. Our people here know what it takes to work here. And they know the environment, they know our customers, and, they're looking for folks that can contribute to that and be good representatives of the city. So if we hire somebody that's been referred by a city employee, once we get that person hired and they actually start work, the referring employee can get $500. And then when that new hire completes probation, so that means they've successfully, been deemed a good fit for the position, they can get another $500. So it's a way to earn $1,000. So it's the best advertising out there, I tell you.
Absolutely.
So I think it's money well spent, and it's getting folks excited, and, we're looking forward to just seeing the results from it. We believe that it'll even be better than what we've seen in the past without a referral program. So we're gonna track and measure the data and see what happens. So I just wanted to share it with you and let you know
That's
what's
good.
happening.
I bet you'll see it'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's great.
yeah.
Any questions or comments from anybody? We have unfinished business.
There's no unfinished business tonight.
New business, updates on senior environment engineer wastewater job description.
Yeah, so, this item is before you tonight, and Keith McMahon, our utilities director, is on vacation. Otherwise, he would be here tonight, but I worked with him on this, job description. I mentioned to you at our last meeting that, one of our long-term employees, Saeed Baziri, passed away. And so, we do have to move forward and fill the position. So we had not looked at this job description, since 2004. So it was time, to take a look at it. So, we went through and made updates to the job description, which you can see in the track changes format, in the attachment to the staff report. Just to bring some things current and to make sure we have, everything, written out in place to be able to recruit and fill the position. There wasn't a whole lot of changes, but there were a few things that needed to be updated. So we put that together. We shared it with the Gilroy Management Association. That's the association that this position falls under, and they are in support of the changes to the job description to bring it current. And then, for this particular, recruitment, and you saw that on the recruitment report, we're going to use the assistance of a search firm that specializes in utilities type recruitments. And they're going to work on our utilities business manager, our utilities operations manager, and this senior environmental engineer for wastewater. So we're going to tap into their expertise and their network of candidates, to work on those three, position recruitments. Those are key management positions in the utilities department, and we need to get really good people in those jobs. So we're looking forward to working with them and, getting some good candidates hired to fill those positions. So happy to answer any questions regarding the job description edits. Otherwise, we're looking to move it forward.
I didn't have a question on the edits, but I was just wondering, what is the pay rate for this position?
Yeah, we're not proposing any changes to the pay rate. And I should have put that in the staff report. If you give me 1 second, I'll tell you what that is. Because it's available online. 1 second, I'll tell you that.
It didn't look like there were like any major,
Yeah.
anything,
To like
more
their duties.
wording and,
Yeah, mostly grammatical.
yeah.
So on our salary schedule page, and then I'm gonna go to the Gilroy Management Association. And the senior environmental engineer.
Have they always overseen or supervised staff again?
At different times, interns and, other positions, but, we're in the process of also recruiting for an environmental engineer, because we're kind of creating some succession planning for the wastewater treatment plant. Because this position has kind of been a one-stop shop, so to speak. And so it's getting busy enough and the treatment plant's getting big enough that we need a second engineer to work on projects. And then it's also, gearing up for succession planning as well. So the salary range for this position is 134,803 to 185,164.
Thank you.
185,164 plus benefits.
So do we need to move to approve this? Okay, do we have a
I will make a motion to approve the updates to the senior environmental engineer wastewater job description.
second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Okay. Updates to code enforcement officer job description.
Yeah, so the next item in your packet is updates to our code enforcement officer job description, and this falls in the community development department, so that's why Sharon is here tonight.
Okay, I was wondering.
So we had a recent retirement of one of our long-term code enforcement officers. And this is a position that we need to fill because we only have 3 people that support our code enforcement function. We have 1 supervising code enforcement officer and 2 code enforcement officers. So we wanted to review this job description and make sure everything was current, and there were a few things that we needed to bring current. Again, using the track changes format so you can see the updates that were made to the job description. This one hadn't been worked on since 2014. So it did need some clarity on a few things and better description of how they're spending their time and the things that they're doing. And we also wanted to make sure that the certifications that they receive for their code enforcement training, some of the organizations that provide those certifications have changed over this time. So we wanted to make sure we had them cited correctly in the requirements for the position. So we shared this job description with AFSCME Local 101 for feedback. And they did have some concern, I guess I would call it concern about item number 12 in the duties of the position, because they were concerned about how frequently this is going to happen and what's short notice and how disruptive could this be to their life outside of work and that kind of thing, which we totally understand. So we actually did a few edits to this and we changed it to sometimes on short notice because we don't see that happening a super lot of the time. It's really occasionally when that happens. And then we added emergency and special enforcement because most of the time on the short notice, it's due to a safety situation or an emergency situation that we're being faced with that requires code enforcement action such that it's not something we can wait 2 weeks to deal with. We need to deal with it sooner rather than later. So we added those additional words to that section. I met with the labor group as well to talk to them about that. Sharon and I have talked, and Hippolito, our chief building official who oversees code enforcement, and I communicated as well. These are just really for those. The short notice would be, we see something on social media. It's Thursday, and it's an event taking place Friday night downtown, and there's no permits.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to show up. We got to figure out what's going on. We got to try to get to the bottom of it. We got to try to figure out who we can talk to in advance of Friday night. But if not, then we've got to be out there and we've got to make sure that there's no safety issues and concerns that could cause harm to the public or create some sort of issue. And so those rare circumstances could require us to ask our employees to either hold over, which the MOU allows us to hold over our employees if we have an urgent situation, or put them on overtime to go out and deal with something outside of hours. Sometimes then we also have things that we know are coming up. We can plan well ahead for it. Code enforcement has been dealing with a lot of different issues associated with street vendors, for an
Right.
example.
Yeah.
But we plan those enforcement dates out. It's been an ongoing problem. It's not a problem that just cropped up today. It's a problem that we've been dealing with on an ongoing basis. And so Sharon and her team will map out, when they're going to go out and do specialized enforcement and what staff we need to cover those duties and responsibilities. And in those instances, when we have that lead time, we often see volunteers first, hey, who wants to work this,
I was gonna say, so all the code enforcement officers are gonna have to comply with it.
Oh, yeah, and everyone has to pitch in because it's a small team, and sometimes even other members of Sharon's
Yeah.
team will go out and help out as well, even outside of the code enforcement area. So maybe our fire marshal will pair up with a code enforcement officer and go out so they're in a pair and a team when they're out, like on a Friday night or something like that. We don't necessarily want to send employees
They've been
out by
doing it
themselves.
already.
Oh, they've totally been doing it already.
Making
The
it,
job description's catching up to
Updating,
what they're already doing.
well,
And so,
I would think they would anticipate that that's part of the
yeah,
job, but
it feels
not
different,
fun.
but it feels different when it's written down on a
Yeah.
piece of paper
Yeah.
in your job description, because that they take it more seriously at that point, which I totally understand. So that's why we said sometimes on short notice, because it's not all the time. Most of the time, these enforcement details are planned out ahead of time. We take volunteers who wants to do it. And because some people want to work the overtime and
overtime,
other people don't. So that way there we can do it that way. Some people would rather not work overtime, but can I change my work schedule? Because if I can work on Saturday, and that means I can I'll take Thursday off and I'll work on Saturday because I have something I want to go do on Thursday. So that would work out good for me. So that's the kind of discussion that the managers had with the team to then be able to get the staffing that they need for the special enforcement that we need to do. Because our ultimate end goal is to keep the community safe, make sure anything taking place in our public areas is safe. And so we do take that seriously when there is an urgent and immediate need. We will jump on that. We've had to have our police department go out with our code enforcement officers sometimes because things get a little bit
people are
difficult.
crazy,
And
they
so-
try and break the rules.
So we've had to go all
happen.
hands on deck on a few of these situations.
Yeah.
So we talked through that, and I think they're comfortable with that piece of it as well. And then we also just talked through the job requirements as well. We didn't really change anything in the job requirements other than the names of the agencies that issue the different certifications and some different types of certifications that one can get to qualify for this position. And then the 832 of the penal code is the arrest, search, and seizure certificate. This is so they can write citations if they need to do that as part of their job. And we actually had the module number down incorrectly. It's module 3 that covers arrest, search, and seizure. So we wanted to make that correction in the job description. So we went through quite a bit of discussion on this one. And so we believe it's at a place now where it is, the job description is ready to be approved. And we actually needed to get the recruitment out and going. So we have it out, but with a footnote that says job description edits are currently under review by the Personnel Commission. So if a candidate sees that, they know that there might be other changes that come after the posting. So we try to be upfront about that. But we just wanted to get the recruitment going because again, when we only have a team of 3 people, being down a third of your staff is 33%, and that's a lot. So we wanted to get that underway as quickly as possible.
So I just had a question. On number 12, as you mentioned, they're already doing this, working, going out as needed, when needed. And looking at the word sometimes, that's very broad. Did you guys have a conversation about this word sometime? Sometimes be like, I just need you sometimes. Sometimes can be today, tomorrow, every day could be sometime. But it's just a broad word. So just question, just curious, have you had a conversation of?
I had a conversation with the AFSCME group about that word. and what that meant. And that, and, you know, I had occasional, and then sometimes we were kind of going back and forth. Because it's hard to define it, because you know, there's just these periodic times that something crops up. But our experience has told us that it's, you know, it's something that comes up, you know,
a few times a year.
a few times a year. But I don't want to just say a few times a year, because what if that year it's 5 times instead of 3? So,
Yeah.
you know, so we're just trying to keep it general, but yet, you know, send a message that this is not something that's gonna happen every week, but it is something that could happen from time to time. So that was where we landed on the best word to define that.
know, what's the most professional sounding word?
All right, any other comments or concerns? Shall we entertain a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve the updates to the enforcement officer job description.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, all righty. Okay. Future Personnel Commission business.
Yeah, just a few things that we're working on, as part of our transition to the utilities department, where Public Works and Utilities are gonna, you know, separate into 2 different, groups from the field personnel, perspective. We're finalizing, the details on the, street stormwater and drainage and trees position. We already have the wastewater one ready, but we want to bring those 2 together, because we're kind of divvying up duties, and it's easier to look at those when they're side by side. So we're just finishing up the second one, so that will be on your next meeting. I've been working with the police department on some updates to their sworn police officer, police department job descriptions. And so hopefully maybe a couple more of those will get done. I was gonna bring them kind of in a batch. And then I did reach out to the Liebert Cassidy Whitmore law firm that's helped us with training in the past, and I'm just waiting to hear some potential dates for training on our employee disciplinary appeal hearing procedures. So once I have some dates for that, I'll reach out to you. I don't know if it will line up with one of our regular meetings, but I'm trying to find a Monday or a Tuesday for Linda that the trainer is available, but we might have to schedule it as a special meeting, or move our meeting that month to fit with when the trainer is available, and then we'll just take care of our regular business and the training all in one night. So I'll pull you once I get some dates from the trainer, but I already started working on that.
Sounds good. All right, and we are gonna try and schedule our next meeting on the 19th of May.
So on our meeting schedule that the commission approved, because the 4th Monday of May is Memorial Day, we approved the 19th as the meeting date for May. So if I have items ready, that's the date we have on our calendar for that month, but it's also a city council meeting night as well. So that's hard for me when I have two different meetings in one night. So, if the trainer, gives me dates that are in May, then I can, check you guys. Maybe we'll change it from the 19th, cause that's really only, 3 weeks from now, maybe, 3 weeks. So, yeah. That's just what our schedule says. Our schedule says the next meeting is the 19th. That was what you guys approved.
Well, you're so good about only having us meet when we need to.
Yeah, and I try to batch things together, or it's maybe driven by, you know, certain recruitments that are more urgent to get them out if it needs a job description update.
Okay,
I'll keep
anybody,
you posted on that.
anything else I need to bring up? Not, we'll 6:10 and 47 seconds, we'll adjourn the meeting.
All right, so I'll turn off the recorder.